In a world where truth is often stranger than fiction, two intrepid hosts embark on a journey through the shadows of history, exploring the mysteries, legends, conspiracies that lie hidden in plain sight. Let's take a jump down the rabbit hole. This is Caffeinated Conspiracies.
Hey everyone, Glenn here. Season 3 is finally here, and we've got a lineup that will keep you on the edge of your seat. From ancient legends to modern mysteries, we have no stone unturned in our quest for truth.
And I'm Omer, your co-host. Get ready to dive deep into the unknown as we unravel the secrets of Skinwalker Ranch, the truth behind Betty and Barney Hill, and much more. Each episode promises to intrigue, surprise, and maybe even spook you.
Join our hosts and a cast of enthused guests as they navigate the murky waters of conspiracy, exploring the unexplained, the unusual, and the downright bizarre. Get ready for a caffeinated journey like no other as we uncover the truth behind the world's most perplexing enigmas. This is Caffeinated Conspiracies.
As the night falls over the desolate expanse of Skinwalker Ranch, whispers of ancient secrets dance on the wind. Welcome, dear listeners, to the eerie embrace of our third season's premiere episode. Tonight, we embark on a journey into the heart of darkness, where reality bends and the line between truth and legend blurs. Join myself, Glenn, and my co-host, Omer, and our special guests from the Paranormal in Pennsylvania podcast, as we venture into the enigmatic depths of Skinwalker Ranch, where tales of shapeshifters, unearthly creatures, and inexplicable phenomena surround the land and the aura of dread. Dare you tread these haunted grounds with us? Brace yourself for a chilling exploration of the unknown. Welcome to Caffeinated Conspiracies. Welcome to Skinwalker Ranch. First time. I knew practice makes perfect.
True.
Honestly, because I'm not working at the moment, it's the best thing I've got is I can sit here and actually read it.
Yeah. No, it's funny because we don't have our intros written out. It's the same one every time, but I have constantly forgotten, like, my line is, "Hi, I'm Erica." It flies right out the window. All I have to say is my name, and every time I'm like,
It happens to us all the time. But yes, welcome to the first episode of season 3. Great to be here. Great to be back doing this again. We do have a special guest. We have Erica from the Paranormal in Pennsylvania podcast. Erica, it's lovely to have you on. Tell us a bit about your show. What happens over there?
Sure. Yeah, it's awesome to be here. Thank you guys so much for having us on. Yeah, so we're called Paranormal in Pennsylvania. It's me and two of my best friends, Sarah and David, and we just talk about paranormal things in Pennsylvania. And it's mostly spirits. We've mostly been focusing on like historical buildings and kind of the stories within them. But we have also done episodes on like aliens, wizards, witches, things like that. So it's pretty cool.
We love all that. I mean, we say this is the first episode, but me and Omer have already sort of jumped ahead and recorded a few episodes. And we have got one where we talk about wizards. We talk about Merlin a little bit, where we talk about Stonehenge, which is not an episode to be missed. It's I don't know where we went with it. I don't know what we were thinking.
I think it ended brilliantly.
It ended perfectly, and it ended on such a tangent. And I do believe it's the second episode, so it's the next episode after this one. But we already recorded it because we had to have it out of the way, ready to basically bring our guests on, ready. But obviously, we've got Omer with us as well, who is my lovely co-host, who's always with me, come rain or shine, no matter where we are. Omer, how are you?
I'm alive. I have coffee. I don't need much else. I basically am a soul that lives purely on coffee.
Talking of beverage, we like to do something new on the show where we just sort of find out if our guests are drinking anything at the time and what we're all drinking. Today, I have a Nescafe coffee, which is sticky toffee pudding.
That sounds so good.
I didn't know this existed until a few days ago, and it's not bad. I'm actually really enjoying it. Omer, what about yourself? What you want today?
I'm still repping sort of wacky coffees, random pods. So
Okay.
I don't know what it is, but it has vanilla in it, and I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
It's coffee.
It's coffee with a hint of vanilla. Uh, Erica, what are you on?
I've got water.
Oh well,
That's
you
what I
see,
have. But
I'm
I
prepared.
did have a chai
I'm
latte
prepared.
today.
That'll do. There you go. We'll just say you had it now. The listeners
Did you
don't
have one
know.
of those half-gallon bottles with the times marked on it? Is that what you were pouring up?
Yes,
So
that's
helpful.
well, it tells me all the times to
Oh,
drink. I keep this under my desk just for when I need it.
that's a very demanding bottle. I mean, I don't like being told what to do from other people. Now you've got a bottle telling you.
Yeah. I mean, I have an app that tells me when to drink as well. So it's like, drink some
Oh,
water. Because I forget. I'm usually off and away doing something, and it's nice having that little reminder.
yeah.
It helps. It really does. But we have gone off on a complete tangent here. We are here to talk about Skinwalker Ranch. Now, before Omer does go through sort of the breakdown of everything, Erica, like I said to you just before we start recording, that we do like to put our guests on the spot a little bit. What do you know of Skinwalker Ranch? Anything at all?
So I know it's in Utah,
Yep.
and I know that there are reportings of like paranormal alien activity there.
Yeah.
That was on the Wikipedia page. I legitimately have never heard of this before coming on.
Really? You see, I've loved the story of Skinwalker Ranch. I think I heard it when we're going back a fair few years now. I was sat at home. I was very sick. I had the flu. I remember being sat on my sofa with a quilt around me, just sort of to keep me warm. And I was watching Ancient Aliens, the documentary series on the History Channel, and I did an episode on there. But because I was having fever dreams, it started to freak me out ever so slightly, where they're talking of like portals opening up and creatures walking out of them. And my cat just sort of came out of nowhere. And I thought, this is it. This is how I die. My cat is going to kill me because I was that poorly and that sick that I genuinely thought my cat had appeared out of a portal from somewhere. But I didn't die. I was still here, which is good, which is nice.
Was
Yes.
this Raven as well?
It was, yes, the big
So
black
he's
furry
talking about
cat.
a fluffy black cat coming up.
Yeah, that's just like a shadow figure waiting to happen,
Yep,
you
pretty
know?
much, pretty much. Um, Omer, before you get into your notes, anything that sort of jumped out at you about this?
No, I only learnt about this because of you, and then I think I only watched one episode of like the History Channel one. They have a whole series, don't they?
Oh
Like
yeah,
8 seasons.
the Secrets of
The
Skinwalker
Secrets of
Ranch.
Skinwalker Ranch. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, there is a series at the moment. I think they're on their fourth season. But I mean, Ancient Aliens is like 15 to 18 seasons, I believe, something like that. And they've done a few episodes on it as well.
I made the
Cool.
mistake of this for this episode. I started my research just typing Skinwalker in. So I did a lot of research on skinwalkers before I realized the ranch is a different thing.
Yeah, completely different, completely different.
I mean, they are related. They do cross over, but the ranch is a different thing. Then it's not just
Yeah.
skinwalkers.
No, you've
But
got all
yeah.
sorts there. But I mean, when you're ready, Omer, dive straight in. Let's get into it.
Okay, then today we're talking about Skinwalker Ranch, also known as the Sherman Ranch, as mentioned earlier, located southeast of Ballard, Utah. It's 500 and no, I've just mistyped something earlier because I've just put 500 and lost the numbers after. I think it was like 514-acre ranch, reputed for sites of paranormal and UFO activity. There's been sightings of many things out there, from aliens, skinwalkers, which we'll get into, Bigfoot, and some dark, large beast with red eyes, which I just thought the Hound of Baskerville.
Ooh.
There's so much. There really is.
So yeah,
Um,
it's not just skinwalkers. There's a lot that sort of happens there, which has caused all of its curiosity.
Right.
It also borders I never checked how to say this, Utah Indian Reservation.
I think it's something like that.
Which
Yeah,
it's UTE, but I don't know if I'm
yeah,
saying it right. Um,
That does
uh,
sound right, I think.
yeah. Yeah, I
Okay,
think
I'll,
so.
I'll take that.
You take-
We'll take your word for it.
I'll
Well,
take it.
if we're wrong,
Um,
let us know in the comments.
the ranch gets its lovely nickname from the Navajo culture of a skinwalker, which was a form of harmful shaman, or some places I read witch,
Yeah, evil
who
witch
have
I've
the
got
ability
here.
to turn into, possess, or disguise themselves as animals. So you had a lot of humanoid animals that are
Ooh.
some of the presumed sightings in the area, which is where it gets its moniker of Skinwalker Ranch. I think it's officially known as Skinwalker Ranch now. Um, I think the biggest sort of notice in it is like there's been sightings before, but the first recorded instance of anything happening there was a lot of local articles that were put up by the Shermans in the
Yeah.
1970s, which first pulled interest in because the Shermans had claims of all different things, mostly aliens and crop circles that they were reporting, and it brought people in to sort of look into it. And then
Mhm.
was it in the 1995 when it was Robert Bigelow who founded the National Institute for Discovery Science, who then
Yeah.
put round-the-clock surveillance around the ranch to capture all the paranormal activities, where its interest really sparked and started going further. And then most recently in 2016, when it was bought out by Brandon Fugel,
Yeah.
who now monitors it, and it's where the series comes in with Skinwalker,
The
the secrets of
the secret
Skinwalkers.
Skinwalker Ranch. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Oh,
that's just the basis of it. Beyond that, like we mentioned earlier, there's been sightings of werewolves wolves the 3 times the size of man. There's been Bigfoot sightings, aliens, like what do they call them? UAPs.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought
Unidentified aerial phenomena.
that was it.
yes, they
Loads
changed
of
up the
them.
terms recently, right?
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they released like a load of footage of like the tic tac and everything, and you hear them on the videos saying it's a UAP, and that's where they've sort of like coined the new term, because obviously anything can be a UAP if it can't be identified. But I suppose that's the same for a UFO,
Right.
unidentified flying object. It's still the same thing. We can't identify it, so it could be anything. But I think it's because
I think
UFO
the
has now been known to be around aliens,
yeah,
whereas UAP is more of a generalized term now. So I think that's why
I
they've
think
sort of
quite
tried
a
to
lot
shy
of the
away from it.
sightings, a lot of the sightings for Skinwalker Ranch were more to do with inexplicable moving lights. So they didn't think it was an
Yes.
object. It was a light that would just
Oh,
disappear into a river that would move in strange ways. So they couldn't
Yeah.
call it an object anymore.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen
Wow,
that
Uh,
that's
because
so interesting. I always think it's so cool how society shapes words, like they
yeah.
mean one thing and then years later it's been taken on by a different meaning.
Well, we've
oh
said
yeah.
this how things change over time because when we've mentioned sort of season one, season two, and we're talking about the past, and we've talked like BC and AD, it's now changed because anything BC is now BCE, beyond the Common
Mhm.
Era. So it's all completely changed, and I didn't even know when it changed, and it's just baffling. So I like the fact that it's been sort of been switched around a little bit because you do think UFO, you think alien, UAP, you don't immediately think, oh, it's a flying saucer. It could be anything. So I like how they've sort of tried to deviate that a little bit.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, May, you got any more?
Most of it from this point is what we're going to discuss later. Those are
All right.
like the solid facts about the place.
No worries. Well, I've got a bit here anyway, just to sort of jump on with what you were saying as well. Um, so you said there, like obviously the Shermans bought the ranch. I believe they bought it in 1994.
Yeah.
Literally didn't have it that long. The Shermans
2 years.
experienced something like that. So, like you said, they experienced a lot of weird stuff. Um, so you've got during the time there, most notably with something matching the description of a skinwalker, one night Terry Sherman heard a noise outside, and was startled to see a wolf in his yard, one much larger than any he'd ever seen. He grabbed his gun from inside and shot the wolf several times, but the bullets appeared to do no damage whatsoever. Um, the wolf did take off eventually, and its tracks disappeared entirely. He chased the wolf, and it had just simply vanished into thin air. Um, During their time there as well, they reported seeing various kinds of flashing lights, like you said, Omer, mysterious objects in the sky, strange blue circles in the fields, mysterious voices floating overhead, and countless cattle mutilations. Um, the Shermans decided to dump the property before it was too late. They sold it in 1996, like I said, just 2 years later, Omar. And they sold it for $200,000. This is a massive ranch, and they sold it for the price of what you could get like a home for now. And they sold an
Yeah.
entire ranch for it. Um,
I mean, when you see what was it like later, it got sold for like was it 2 million or something? I know
he
it's.
got sold, yeah, to Google. Yeah, he bought it for quite a fair bit. I don't know if I've got the price here.
I thought I'd put down the price, but I didn't.
So it's a 500-acre ranch. They sold it for 200,000, but I don't think I've got how much he Brandon purchased it for. But this guy's a multimillionaire, so either way, he could afford it. um,
Sounds like
but
they just wanted to like get rid of the ranch as fast
they
as
didn't they
possible.
didn't want to make a profit. They just didn't want anything to
Well,
do with
after
it
you've got
anymore.
cattle mutilations, you're not making a profit from
Yes.
it, are you?
Yeah, no, definitely not.
That's a fair point.
So yeah, like I said there, Robert Bigelow bought it. And where he said they founded the National Institute for Discovery Science to fund research on UFOs and paranormal. Um, so what turned out to be the place that the Shermans hated was Bigelow's sort of playground. He loved this idea of going here, setting up the cameras on constant alert, so it was checking everything. One of the main points that skeptics make about Skinwalker Ranch is that most of the evidence for the paranormal activity on the ranch comes from the Shermans. And obviously, they sold it to a known millionaire for his interest in the UFO and research. But again, because they didn't sell it at a profit, I don't see that as being a skeptic thing. But I don't see them just sort of going, if they wanted to sell it for the fact that this guy was interested in it, you could have bumped the price up. But I mean, we'll get into that when we go into like the theories and things like that. Um, but Bigelow, but basically, they've got research here where they've got into it where it's like, did they actually find anything? Because obviously, he sold the ranch a couple of years later after he's, well, I say a couple of years, it's quite a while after. Um, if obviously if he's found anything there, we don't know of anything. Everything was kept hush. Was there any evidence of UFOs or any alien life? Did they find a portal to an extraterrestrial dimension? We don't know. But they said that while they were on the ranch, they never saw any cattle mutilations while they owned it. So
And none of the surveillance cameras have
ever,
captured anything
oh,
conclusive. Is
yeah,
Oh.
yeah. They did find one cow that had died, but it was drained completely of blood, which is the one thing that they've said was a bit weird.
I was
Yes,
going to say the
that's really.
chupacabra, but cabra's goat. So what's cow?
You know what's
um,
interesting? The Amityville horror house, I think I'm correct in thinking that this is the one that I've researched, where the family that was in the house that reported all of this paranormal activity, once they moved out, other people moved in and didn't experience it
yeah,
either.
exactly.
Yeah, that.
We covered it back in season 2, exactly the same thing, where we said, you know, it all happened with this one family. They brought a priest in and everything, and after that, there wasn't much going on.
Nothing.
So that could be a similar sort of circumstance with this. Um, Now obviously there's this place has fascinated me because even now with the series, I'm not going to lie, I do watch the series just for the fact that I'm intrigued in these little things. And once it sort of hooks me, I'm in. That's it. They can't get rid of me then. They've got me until the end. Um, and I'm watching it, and there's like this one guy that when Bigelow bought the ranch from the Shermans, and even when Brandon Fugel bought it as well, they've all been told the same thing: don't dig on the land. That bit to me is just sort of like, okay, but apparently that's been brought down from the Navajos. They've always said don't dig on the land. And one day, one of the guys who works on the secrets of Skinwalker Ranch before they started recording started digging, and then next minute the skin on the back of his head sort of separated from his skull. And he had like a weird big lump on the back of his head, and he was hospitalized for weeks. And they still say that they don't know what caused it. You get them on the episode where they're like, "Oh, we've got like radiation reading meters on ourselves, and there's certain parts of the land that they go on, and it spikes." And literally, you see them all running off. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of it, I'm like, "Oh, this is really interesting," and then you realize they can't act, these people, because they're meant to be scientists and things like that, and just and I'm like, some of it's just completely out there, but some of it I'm sort of like, oh, I really like this. I'm really intrigued by it. So, like I said, they've gripped me. They've got me. There's no way of getting rid of me now. I'm watching till the end.
Yeah.
But find out what's it's like Oak Island. I watched that as well. Just to find out is there treasure on Oak Island? We'll never know. But even reports actually go back earlier than what the Shermans said. So reports go back to sort of like the 1950s, where they were reporting other ranches in the area reported signs of UFOs, unexplained phenomena, just in the Utah basin altogether. So not just at Skinwalker Ranch, but the neighbors of other ranches have seen various types of bright lights in the sky, often appearing as a shape that looks like a doorway or a portal, and other reports of giant flying objects. Now, I think it's just the reason that this one's more popular is because the Sherman said something about it, and they've obviously, tried to get thrust into the limelight. Now, that is one of the theories that we've got. Now, before we
Yeah.
do go into the theories, Eric, have you got any questions at this point? Anything you want to say? Anything that's jumped out at
No
you that you find
question.
interesting?
Yeah, I was gonna say the 3 foot taller than human wolves or like Bigfoot, I can do. I think the thing that freaks me out the most is the humanoid animals that we talked. Like,
Yeah,
I cannot get that
Skinwalkers
out of my head.
themselves.
yeah.
Yes, because I feel like, you see Bigfoot, I'm running in the other direction. But if I see like a humanoid, you might stop for a second and be like, huh, like, is that another person?
If
And then
you
you
look,
then you start seeing them change, and it's like, oh hell no, I'm
Yeah.
off. Why did I ever come here?
so try to be careful of not falling into a rabbit hole with looking for skinwalkers online, because there are a lot of made-up images. I don't think any of them are real, but
Yeah.
the actual idea of them are humans that have turned into animals, but they've not fully changed into the animal. So it's like a dog with a man's face, or like a cat but with human arms.
Interesting. So you would know.
So you
That's
would know.
nightmare
I'm not
fuel.
saying
That is
so they don't all
nightmare
look
fuel
human.
right
By
there.
humanoid, they've just got human-like features that sort of make them stand out. Sometimes
Yeah.
the initial Navajo descript like idea of a skinwalker is a human who'd fully transformed into the animal. So it'd be an animal. You would see an animal, but it would have a human voice.
Oh, that's
Okay.
really interesting. That one I might be like, do I now have animal speaking powers?
Am I
Did I
Doctor
get dropped?
Doolittle?
Yeah. Did I get dropped into Dungeons and Dragons? And now I can speak
I
to
don't know
animals.
why, but Omer, when you said there about skinwalkers having like the animal sort of look of it, but some sort of human
Do you
features,
get Full Metal
what?
Alchemist?
No, why did I think of an elephant with human ears? It's just I don't know why that's the first animal that popped into my head. An elephant with human ears. I don't know why.
Oh, that's
My brain
so
can't put
funny.
those two images together.
No. No,
I
it
don't know
can't.
why. I'm gonna. One of us are gonna have to Photoshop that at some point and just put that out
Yeah.
there. Just, I mean, that's just baffled me now.
Elephant with
Absolutely
human ears.
baffled me.
I just,
Okay. I don't know why they'd turn into an elephant because they're not native to the area. That'd be a weird animal for them
Doesn't
to
matter.
choose. But still,
If you're a skinwalker and you can turn into any animal you want, I'm picking something good.
that's true. That's true.
There
mean,
you go. There you go.
they
Let's
are-
ask the question. Let's ask the question. Omer, if you were a skinwalker and you could change into any animal, what would you be?
so to be fair, the fact that they're meant to be sort of wrathful and vengeful people who then turn into the animal, I'd just be a bear.
There you go. Good choice. What human feature would you have, though?
I wouldn't want any human features. I just want to be a bear. And I would purposely put on a red t-shirt as well.
You want to be Winnie the Pooh, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Erica, what about yourself? What would you be?
Listen, this is the most disturbing thing I think I've ever thought of in my life, but this is where my brain went. For like practicality, right? I'd like to be a bird. First of all, I'm actually terrified of birds as a human. So, I want to get some of the experience. But
It's
on
the
top
Batman
of that,
idea. Take on the persona of the thing you fear.
There you go.
yes, exactly. But I still want to be able to run. So I think I'd do a bird, but with human legs.
Okay.
Like I'd have wings, I could fly, but
Okay.
human legs.
You missed the
okay.
better option of a griffin.
But it's not real.
That's true. I did. I thought so small, My brain just couldn't expand that far.
You see,
And how do you know griffins aren't real?
true, yeah, true. For me, I'd be an alpaca.
Why an alpaca?
Because I love alpacas, right? And it's just the way that they sort of hop around when they're running. I just think they look amazing. And, right, everyone thinks you're all cute and cuddly, but then you can spit at people in the face.
And they'd be okay with it.
Exactly. Can't do anything about it.
Right.
And alpacas are my favorite animals. So
you're not vengeful, you're just mildly annoying.
yes. much like how I really am. So not much has changed.
Okay.
And
That
there you
makes
go.
sense. Now I see it.
And I think on that note there, we're going to take a very quick break.
Now, let's hear a trailer from one of our caffeinated collaborators.
Welcome to the Dead Podcast. I'm your host, Desi, and on this podcast, I discuss all things spooky and weird, from ghosts, demons, religion, to folklore, urban legends, true crime, and all things paranormal, with some horror movie reviews sprinkled in. So join me on this spooky ride.
And welcome back to the eerie mysteries surrounding Skinwalker Ranch.
Nice.
That's all I was going to do. I'm not going to do anything.
Is that how you're going to do it? You're not going to. So, yes, we've discussed bits of Skinwalker Ranch and obviously all the little details in there. Obviously, there is like so many layers of this thing to look into that I think if we had to do it, we probably would end up making a TV series for the History Channel, much like the Skinwalker Ranch series that's already out
I
there.
get the same money they do.
I don't. Did they get paid?
They get paid. You're not doing like 8 seasons off your own funding. No, wait. I think it's 8 seasons because they had a spin-off show as well, didn't they?
Oh yeah,
Beyond Skinwalker.
Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they start looking at other alien sort of things, like a little spin-off series.
You're not doing that much and not getting paid for it. So I want
Good point.
I want History Channel money. It's probably not a lot of money, but I still want it.
Mate, I'm out of work at the moment. That's more than what I'd have. I need it. So obviously, Erica, before the break, we gave you all the information there, which is a lot to take in. And I know obviously we've just picked what animals we would be, but overall, what are you thinking at the moment about Skinwalker Ranch? Is it sort of something there that sort of tickled you a little bit that you might want to look into, or?
Yeah, I do actually want to hear people's arguments. I think we talked about like the skepticism of the fact that the Shermans were the
Yeah,
only people who experienced any activity. I really do want to hear their arguments because again, that happened at Amityville. So
yeah.
I'm interested
There's a
in that. And
catch to
then
Skinwalker Ranch on that. So the Shermans were the
ooh,
only ones to report any of the supernatural elements. The UFO and other elements, you actually see it in, Glenn can attest to it, in the Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch show. Apparently, there's certain
oh,
spots around there that their instruments just don't work.
Yes.
I think there was a
oh,
clip. I watched a lot of like best clips of it. I didn't watch the entire show just to get an idea of what I was actually delving into. And one of them was they took some like live pictures of the entire ranch, which usually builds a 3D model of what the land should look like. But when they built this model, there were two jutting spires, one of them off center, like it randomly in the middle of it. You can't see these things, but the pictures picked up these two anomalies. And then they asked the software developers of the software, has this happened anywhere else? They're like, no, this has never happened before.
They've also done it where they have radio sensors that they drop out of helicopters. And once it gets to a certain point, it's like it just disappears. But it's not actually on the land, it is in the air. So they've found that the certain points on that you were saying, this is where it gets crazy now. Creates a triangle. So the top of the triangle
I
in
think
the
I've heard
air,
that.
it's nothing there. They can't sense anything at all. There's like this spot that has it's just a complete dead zone. Phones, if you're in the middle of that triangle area, phones just start randomly doing their own thing. Like one of them
Compasses
just
stopped
start
working.
compasses stop working. One of them, where they're out there, you just see the phone starts to start dialing a random number, puts the phone down, opens up a web page, starts searching the web, goes off, goes back to calling somebody, and then just shuts down altogether. And you just sort of like,
that
all right,
is
that's crazy. That is a little bit out there.
yes. Stopping the phone stopping working. I don't know if that was a correct grammar. I think it was. For a phone to stop working, that makes sense. But to start like dialing a number by
Yeah.
itself,
I mean, I can understand if it was like one of the old phones when we had buttons. I can understand that if the button
How
stuck,
would that make more
but
sense?
because it's a button and it can get stuck.
Which it means it needs a physical touch, right?
Yeah,
The
but if you pushed it
smartphones
in,
are all digital, and if you mess with the digital aspect of it, you could get it to dial. It'd be less likely for you to press like something non-physical to hit buttons.
okay, maybe if you put it that way, yeah. But they're on sand as well. It's a desert, isn't it? You know, the Utah Basin. It
Well,
is very gravelly.
it's very
Um,
gravelly. Wouldn't call it a desert.
but let's go into some of the theories. So I've got the one here. The first theory that I came across. Like I say, these aren't all mine. These are the ones that I have seen. Um, is the people were lying just to get money, basically. Um, so
That's a
like we
common
said,
theme with a lot of these.
it's the common. Yeah, it is a common theme. So mostly the theory is that likely the people that raised a hand and basically said, "We've got stuff going on in our ranch. We want to make like some money out of this in some way," because they still, even though we call it Skinwalker Ranch, it is still very much referred to as Sherman Ranch as well. So their name is now sort of forever tied to the ranch, and surely they're going to have to get something for it when their backstory is mentioned, or they're brought up in the
Royalties.
limelight again. Exactly, something must be there for them. Um, I mean, it's not a fun theory because that just sort of like goes, it's all made up. They've done it for money. There's no proof of anything. But I don't know. I mean, what we do now is we rate all our theories on a scale of 1 to 5, but we rate them on the fun aspects as well as now we do two scores on season 3, which is something new. We rate on 1 to 5 for fun, 1 to 5 for practicality. Um,
okay.
so the fact that they're lying for money, does anybody else want to sort of jump in with this? Have they got any other parts that they want to add to this? Do we think that they're just making it up to sort of make a quick buck, sell their story, get some books, some royalties? What are we thinking?
It sounds plausible. Too
Yes.
plausible. Especially when you look at the fact that the Shermans themselves sold it on to Robert Bigelow, right? They sold it at small cost, but
Yes.
that only makes sense if they know they're getting a payout down the line. So they sell it to him for cheap. He has to use their name. They get royalties, as you mentioned. So they're still making money off it, right?
Mhm.
Bigelow then sold it to Brandon for, I'm sure it was like 2 million or something. So he paid a lot for the ranch. If you can
We
fact
can have
check
a
me on that,
look.
it'd be
I will
great.
have a quick look.
And the show itself, as I mentioned earlier, has ran for so long because it's kept people's interest, and they're
Yeah.
not doing the show for free. There is a lot of self-funding in there, and I think Bigelow put a lot of money into sort of the surveillance stuff they still use, so they
Yeah.
weren't paying for new surveillance systems straight off the bat. And I think they've had funding from the government, like a small pay in there at some point. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of money that's gone into possible stories and possible sightings, but nothing has ever been unanimously confirmed. Nothing's can be proven.
Yeah.
I think the best I could find when doing research on it was all of the stories that were given about the paranormal stuff were just stories. There was no
Yeah.
proof. There was notes of footprints, but all the footprints I kept seeing online would literally just look like dog prints, but somebody had picked the dog up and moved it further, so it looked like it had a wider stride.
Yeah.
Oh.
There was one that actually looked like, and I couldn't find whether it was a factual picture or not, or if it was edited, but it looked more like a lizard print that somebody had zoomed into to make it look bigger. But yeah, there's a lot of things that just there's not enough there, and what is there doesn't feel real. The glitches that I've mentioned earlier on the Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch show feel a bit like they may not be there or they may be there, but they're focusing on the wrong aspect of it to sort of keep people interested. Because if there was something there and you could unanimously prove it with all these glitches and the fact they found a triangle, you wouldn't need so many seasons. You could have done it in one and done. The fact that the show's still going on means it's still making money, which is why History Channel's going to promote it, because they're not a fact, like they call themselves History and Fact, they're still a media company. They need
Yeah.
income. They need people to
Right.
watch stuff, and that's what makes it scream like I'm on board with the make money theory.
Okay. Okay. Um, anything from yourself, Erica?
Yeah, so on the fun scale, it's a 1. It's just so
Okay.
Fun, yeah.
unfun. But yeah, I always, we try to be skeptics on our episodes too, with can things be proven? Was there like actual
Yeah.
evidence of this like paranormal thing? If there's none, it is sort of plausible, I think, that maybe they had made things up, but I don't know because there's some parts of it to me that and maybe they're not smart. I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna make something up, you can't go too far. Like you in your own
Yeah.
head would be like, no, I can't say that I found a portal because that's just not realistic. So some of it makes me think maybe they did actually feel something and see things and
Yeah.
you know
Okay. So for practicality, what are you going to score it out of 5 then?
for practicality, I'm gonna say 3.
3. Oh man, what about you?
The practicality one, I'd rate it a little high just because of the phenomenons, and I'd like some definitive information on the weird, like electrical phenomenons they have.
Phenomenon?
Anyway, but I'm with Erica on the fun one. It's a 1 for fun. It just like
Yeah,
takes all the
I agree.
fun out of it.
I agree. I'm the same there with you, Omi. I'll give it a 1 for fun. And again, round about a 3 as well for sort of the practicality side of things. As much as, like I say, I am always one to sit on the fence. If some things will make me sway one way or the other, I don't need to have definitive proof to believe in something. But if it's there, I can't argue with it. But the fact that they made it up for it to go on for so long, I mean, I know what TV's like. I know they can sort of edit things. I know we can. I did a TV course. I mean, come on, I know the ins and outs of this thing. I know how to edit. I know how to green screen and change things and put things that make it look like it's something else. And with the use now of AI, it's nice and easy to sort of adjust anything we're seeing on TV. But I don't know, something about what happened to the guy that was on the ranch that did the digging, and the you see the actual sort of X-rays and the skin coming away from the skull. There's just something about that just makes me a little bit creeped out about the fact that don't dig on the ranch or something bad will happen, and something bad happened. So with that, yeah, I kind of want to. I'll wait to see if they've made it up, because you never know. One day the proof could come out that something is going on there, and it is like a beacon of some sort. Omer, you got any theories on your end?
On the paranormal bit,
We're going to
never
go
looked
through all the
into them.
theories. We jump back and forth now. Let's do it.
Yeah, I know, but like the money bit, the weird things, I've got this one sort of. I found a lot out about other stuff, like the paranormal bit interested me more than the actual sort of UFOs and UAPs as they call them. I feel like a lot of scientific stuff, they put a lot of equipment into it and still haven't found anything conclusive, which kind of takes me away from that. So I don't have much. I don't have like a weird theory on this one like I normally do. Maybe I'll think of one before we get to the end of the episode.
No worries. Well, I've got a theory here of extraterrestrial visitors. So obviously, they're to blame. It's all them. It's all the aliens' fault.
It's always aliens.
It's
Aliens
always
and Mothman.
aliens. So the most popular theories about the anomalies at the Skinwalker Ranch is the fact that it's extraterrestrials. It would certainly explain things like the bright lights in the sky, flying objects, strange voices, the electrical disturbances, the cattle mutilation. But why there? What makes there so important? And if they are out there filming a series, I know they've spotted lights and things like that. And like say, oh man, why haven't they found anything just yet? Why is it that they've gone, oh, look at that light over there? We get the camera on the light, we see the light, and then we have nothing else after that. They all stand there for 10, 20 minutes looking at this light, and then it's gone. But by the time they've been able to get to a helicopter to go out to see what's there, it's disappeared. It's like you need to be in the sky at all times, guys. Be ready. Be constantly circling. When one helicopter needs to come down, send another one up. Keep going back and forth. One of you needs to be up there
The
ready to
rising
see what's
price
there.
of fuel, that'd be very useful.
Well, yeah. Drones are now inexpensive. There you go. Keep them up in the sky. They're going to catch something at least. So, I mean, Omer, have you got anything to add to the extraterrestrial side? Anything you want to sort of include?
The extraterrestrial one, I don't have any research besides what I saw on the ranch and I've mentioned already. There was a lot of sightings of just unidentified object, unseeable objects was one of them, and rods seems to come up a lot. I think I've seen
rods,
that in a few other things, which is something we need to do an episode on at some point.
Yeah, rods are weird things. They really are.
I don't know if they're animals. I don't know if they're aliens. I'm confused on them. But yeah, there's been sightings of them all across the ranch, but more dense in the ranch than most other places.
Yeah.
Which makes me think, if they're not extraterrestrial, is it just like animals we can't see?
Good point.
Oh.
There you are. Erica's interested now. She's like, oh, I like this.
I know. I really do. I think that the extraterrestrial theories, I think to me that sounds the most accurate. And I think because, so I also was wondering, like, why Utah?
Yeah.
There's something really out there, like in all the Marvel movies, it's New York. So I'm like surprised that they chose Utah. But I think maybe it has something to do with the tribe, the tribe that was there? Like maybe they
Yeah,
brought different energies that maybe attracted something? Or is there something, those drop zones that are very weird that disappear? Is it because of like something underneath the ground, like towards the core? I don't know if that has something to do with it.
that could be why they've been told not to dig there. That could be a reason.
Yeah.
There you go.
Big magnet.
Big magnet. Just a,
I feel like everything comes down to magnets.
Yeah.
yeah. Magnetic fields are so weird. I mean, we still don't fully know how to explain them properly.
That's
Okay,
what's
so
buried. That's what they're hiding. That's it. Aliens buried a big buried? Yeah, buried a big magnet. I feel like I
there you
said
go.
that wrong. And that's what's causing all the phenomenon. Aliens come down. We can't see them because the magnets are hiding them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's rate it. Let's rate the extraterrestrial one. Eric, we're gonna go to you first. So on a scale of 1 to 5 for fun.
I'm gonna say 4. I'm gonna say a 4 for fun, and for practicality, I'll also say a 4.
Oh,
I'm
nice
liking that
solid,
theory.
nice solid scores there. Omer, what about yourself?
Joining her on the fun scale. Like, it's definitely a 4 for fun. Like, the idea of
Yeah.
just aliens. And it doesn't even feel like an experimentational point. Like, every other, like, alien site we've talked about, there's usually, like, a human abduction or something like this. There's not many human abductions in the stories
Just
that I
cow
was reading.
mutilations and stuff like that.
Cow
Yeah.
mutilations, everything else. So I think it's just like a fun zone for aliens. It's not like, an experimentation point. They're like, how can we mess with people in this area?
Just a stop off point.
Yeah, it's just like, we'll take all the blood out of this cow and just see what happens. It's got like a good fun factor to it. Like, it's not the same, like, alien probing, like everything always comes up to. It's sort of a little different they're messing with. And now that I've thought of like the stupid magnet below the ground, it makes it even more fun, which is why they can't dig. And maybe, did the dude who had the skin come off his head happen to have a metal plate by any chance?
No, he didn't.
That we know of.
That we know of, yeah. Maybe they've kept that bit secret. I don't know. That's why it's called The Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch. That's what you find out in the final episode. He said he had a metal plate in the back of his head and he hit the magnet and it went ding. And yeah, there you go. Omer solved
That
it all.
explains it.
Solved.
But yeah, so fun factor 4 for practicality. I'm like at middle ground for this one. I'd say 3 because there's nothing's definitively screaming it's not, but nothing's saying it is either. So I'm at dead center for it.
Okay.
What about yourself?
For me, extraterrestrial, you know me, it's always fun for me. It's a 5, definitely a 5. Believability, gonna go 4 as well. For the practicality of it all. I love the whole thing that this is just a place where we get so many different extraterrestrial visitations for no reason whatsoever than just to sort of mess with us. But I like that. Going on to the next theory, we've got, as we said, about portals and things like that. So interdimensional visitors. It's now starting to sound like it's some sort of Marvel Cinematic Universe here, where we've got new portals opening up, TA agents coming through, everything's changed.
TVA, you mean?
That's what I meant. That's what I meant. Oh, it's been a long day. It's been a very long day. To us here, it's nighttime for me and Omer, and it's just a long day already. But rather than believing that UFOs arrive from another planet, people believe that people are coming from a parallel dimension. And obviously that could be why they're hearing the noises of people talking. I've said it before, and I somehow don't know how I linked it to Hotel Cecil, that there's like a thin plate between the two universes where they sort of interlap. That basically the Utah Basin could be that. It could be where the veil between two worlds is very, very thin and things could step through. And that's why it looks a bit different. Things don't look the same. There was one report of soldiers that worked on the ranch whilst working for Bigelow that they said that they saw a portal open up and a man step out, walk across the grass, and then disappear. You know, I mean, do I believe that? I don't know.
Did they leave a
But
description of what the portal looked like? Was it like a ring of gold shining?
they just they said that they just saw a bright light and a man step out. That's it. So I don't know. Seems very Fringe to me. I mean, I love the series Fringe. It seemed very much like that. Um, and now I can see where they're getting all their ideas from for these TV shows and films. And obviously,
Fact
could
is
it be?
usually stranger than fiction.
It really is. I kind of like the idea of the interdimensional side of things. But let's see what you guys think. Omer, have you got any more to add to it at all? Have you come across anything about this?
No,
How do you feel about interdimensional visitors?
so I like the interdimensional one. My research came up with similar things that you've just mentioned, but one of the theories that somebody put forward, and can't remember where I read the theory, but the theory was that interdimensional creatures wouldn't look the way we expect them. They may not even have a physical form as we think them. So they would look different, sound different, and their form of communication would be different. So
Yeah.
what we're hearing as possible voices could just be them moving, and that's just a sound they emit, and
Okay.
we equate that to what we see as a voice, which, given the anomalies that happen at Skinwalker Ranch that have been sort of questioned in with technology, makes more sense than any of the other theories.
So it could be why we think that, we believe the ghosts stories and the supernatural there could be that it's something from an alternate universe that we can't quite comprehend and see it as that.
And if you take the wolf, for example, that the guy saw, shot at, no footprints, wolf disappeared, what if it was just like a gaseous figure? So just a
Okay.
black ball, like wolf shaped gas, and then disappeared, blew on. That's why he didn't hit anything.
Okay.
And that would, and I liked it because it did a better job of explaining all the weird stuff than Aliens.
Okay. Okay. Um, Erica, what about you? Anything on that you want to add?
I do like this theory too. It's interesting. I was like team alien and now I'm kind of like, huh, interesting. I really like the idea of portals. The whole thing of like parallel dimensions has always interested me. I constantly wish I could like go through one and hang out with the Guardians of the Galaxy team like all the time. But it's interesting because I think this has given me like a different perspective on it. If those are real and somebody's head got that messed up, maybe it's best if we all stay in our own dimension. Like,
Yeah, let's
I
not
kind
let's
of
not go
freak out.
dimension hopping. Let's stay where we are. We're all
Yeah,
good.
but
We're happy where we are.
the idea is cool. I like it, and it does explain a little bit more. I think
Yeah.
the
So on
concept.
that then, what would you score it?
Well, a five for fun.
Yeah.
That is even more fun to me, I think, than Aliens. I would also say a 4 for practicality.
Okay. Omer, what about yourself?
I'm agreeing on both of them. I like
Yeah.
that one more. And practicality, because it does
Yeah.
a better job of explaining than Aliens does. I gotta say a 4, but like I can't give it the 5 because I need more proof.
I'm with you guys. Same score, I think. It's a unanimous score on that one. We all agree. And then the last theory I've got here is it's a geological physical process causing the brain to hallucinate. So obviously where we said that there's lots of magnetic sort of anomalies here that cause certain things to happen. You've been told not to dig. There's radiation points. Um, Bits where technology just stops working. There's bits where cars just seem to stop, to the point that on the series they've had to build like a makeshift Faraday cage, just to sort of help when people are sort of getting these mass headaches, that they go and sit in basically a giant metal silo outside on the ranch, and they have to sit in there just to sort of cool down, get the head back to normal. and at least everyone that's been on the ranch has had to go in there. Um, Everyone sort of felt sick. One guy has had like burn marks on his fingers from where he opened up a grid, and the radiation spikes were dead high, but when they went back, there was no radiation level at all. So the fact that there could be something going on there that could be causing all these little different bits of weird phenomenon going on, much like we said at the end of the last season with the Bermuda Triangle, there's magnetic fields which change where the magnet's pointing. Could this be something similar? Is that what we're saying is more the people are saying that this is the more of the realistic side of things, that it's just basically like a mass hallucination in a way. The hallucination side I don't agree with, but the fact that there's something not quite right with the area, which is why they're all experiencing different things, sort of sounds like it could happen because we know of places where it has happened previously or other times. So yeah. What about you, Omer? What do you think of that one? That there's just some sort of weird. It's just in general, it's just a weird ass place to be.
Is it? It kind of gives me more. I don't like the theory,
Question,
but
questions and answers.
hallucinating in a desert.
Well, yeah. Where do you
That's
expect
what
to
it feels
hallucinate?
like. But like you're not in like a barren desert away from a lot of people. That because of the people working on the ranch, you never left alone that long. You know, it's not like they're thirsty or like dehydrated or lack of sleep. The things that normally cause hallucinations. But they describe a lot of what people experience when hallucinating in a desert.
Yeah,
Like things there that couldn't be. So a geological thing would only make sense if it's something that would affect our brain chemistry.
yeah,
So I do know, like, as I made the joke earlier, some magnetic forces and not ferromagnetism. There's another one that does affect brain chemistry. I'll need to find out what that is and
I
figure
haven't
it
got
out
a
later.
clue. I'm not
But
smart enough for that. It's
the more
been a
common
long day.
one is like gases. But
Yeah.
there's never been any reports of any strange gases.
Okay. So is that why you can't sort of like that one that
Don't
much?
like that one. That's why, yeah. That's never one of the things they've mentioned.
Erica, you were going to say then, sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. Yeah, I think it's more fun than the money theory
Yeah,
for sure. It's definitely interesting. I also feel like I'm not a fan of the trope of movies or books where it all ends up being a dream at the end. And that's kind of what this theory
yeah.
feels like to
Sort of
me.
feels like a cop out, doesn't it? Like they've just sort of gone for the easiest answer and swept it under the rug, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, using the scales again, I'll say a 3 for fun. It's interesting. And maybe like a 2 on the practicality.
Okay. Omer.
Practicality, don't like it. It's a 1.
Okay.
Fun, because it would explain most stuff of like them like hallucinating and like something else is affecting them. So they're not actually seeing all these things. Even the readings could be off. Then I give it a 3 because there's something there in the fun aspect, just not delved deep enough.
Yeah. Yeah, sort of on the fence for fun 3. I kind of like it. It's got some merit. There's, we have seen places where these sorts of things can happen, but without any sort of physical proof of what's going on. I sort of given it a 2, practicality wise. Now that is all the theories that
No, there
I've
isn't. You
got
missed
here.
one.
Go
You
on.
have all except one off my list.
Oh, go on.
Cursed land.
Okay.
So
There you
the
go.
cursed land theory comes from apparently during the American Civil War back in 1861. It was originally land that was fought over by the Navajo and the Ute tribe.
Okay.
What was it? I've got military. So Navajo. So the Ute tribe joined the U.S. military forces against the Navajo. The Navajo were beaten and then sent down to New Mexico. And that whole thing, as the Navajo were like forced out of the land, they were made to walk down to New Mexico, which I can't even remember what the distance on that was, but it was famously known as the Long Walk. But as the Navajo were leaving, they cursed the land for anyone who ever wanted to live there. This is why the UT tribe are close, but not on the land specifically.
Right.
They're bordered to it, but not on. And the theory is that Skinwalker Ranch was that part of land that they fought on and cursed. And that's where it gets, because Skinwalker isn't from the UT tribe. They don't have. They have something similar, but not Skinwalkers. Skinwalkers are Navajo specific, but Navajos are nowhere near there. So why would you have a Skinwalker when there's no Navajo? But then you've got to remember earlier that I mentioned they are vengeful and wrathful people, which they have full reason if they've cursed the land.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So it's one of the other theories. What a part of that was, like, it was an old Indian burial ground, but Indian burial grounds were not that far from their settlements anyway. So if they were settled there, there's going to be Indians buried like somewhere nearby.
Yeah.
And that could also explain sort of your head trauma from digging, because he may have started digging directly where their burial site was.
Right.
So, and you, like, during the battle between the UT, the military, and the Navajo, I think there was recorded at least 200 Navajos who died on that land. So a lot of dead bodies spread out there.
Wow. Okay, then it's quite a lot then.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It gets better because it's not a folk tale from Navajo, but another Native American tribe from Cajun folklore have the Rougarou. And the Rougarou is basically their version of a werewolf. It's a man who can turn into a wolf. And then you got to remember the story of the big dog.
Yeah.
So it all sort of works well with the cursed land theory.
Ooh.
You know,
I
I
like
just
that.
read a book with that, the Rougarou in it, and I can't remember what it was, but it was so interesting.
I tried to ask my housemate because I couldn't remember, and I feel like it was it not what they said they were in Twilight?
I know.
You know what?
I know they had Rougarou in Supernatural. I mean,
I do remember the Rougarou in
Supernatural,
Supernatural, but because like the tribe in Twilight had the ability to change on command, which is what the Rougarou are known to do. And I was like, is that where Twilight got the idea from?
They may have. I mean, they were on a reservation. I love Twilight, just a heads up. Like, I just reread all the books. I don't remember them mentioning that word specifically, but I would not be surprised if it came from that idea, because the wolves in Twilight are larger than normal wolves. Like, they're like bear wolves.
Yeah.
That would explain it all, wouldn't it?
Well, I think the Rougarou, like, from the Cajun folklore, are like body of a man, head of a wolf, quite big, and they're usually used to scare misbehaving children.
Ooh. That's terrifying.
I mean, all of the I'm sure at some point I'm going to go through all the cryptids, and you're going to find like 60 to 70% of them are made to scare children.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah.
Well, with that theory then, Erica, what you scoring it?
That's a fun theory. Well, not a fun. It's not fun that they got kicked off the land. That part, you know,
Well,
American history
they were
is
very vicious. Like the Navajo tribe were quite like vicious back in those days.
Yeah.
They were the ones who were known to sort of, they had slaves. They were ones known for scalping people. So them being against the US military of the time, just after the Civil War, during the Civil War, like, it makes sense that they're the villains in that story. I wouldn't say they're villains now, and I'm not saying the Navajo tribe should be treated that way. I'm just saying the historical context suggests back then they were like...
Omer does not mean to offend. Her opinions are just and valid.
But yeah, I do like this theory. I do like the whole like cursed land. And I feel like it's something that does it's not a cop out, but it does explain all of the
Everything
abnormal
sort of
phenomena.
makes, yeah. Okay. So what are you scoring it then? What scores are you giving it?
Ooh, okay. Fun. I think 5 again. I like that
Yeah,
theory. And practicality, I'll say 4.
yeah. Oh mate, it was your theory. What do you want to score it?
I like the theory. I just find it the most fun theory. So, like, I'm giving it a 5. Only thing is I'm not a believer in most of this stuff. So I can't give it anything. I don't want to give it a 1, so I got to give it a 2
Okay.
in believability.
Uh, Me personally, I'm going for top scores on both 5 and 5. I fully like it. I think it could. You know me, I love curses and stuff like that. Those are types of things that I love reading about. I love doing research into. And the fact that this didn't go with my theories, I'm well annoyed now. Wish that was mine. I wish I'd found that one. But no, I like it. I think it's really cool actually. Um, but I think on that, I don't think there's any more theories that I've got here. Omer, you got anything else?
Hmm. I mean, this could just be a stop-off point for all cryptids because Bigfoot has been found there before. I
Well,
mean,
we did say that Bermuda Triangle was like the meeting place for them all for like their beach holiday.
yeah. So you got like
Um,
little nodes between, so you can't make the full trip from like
yeah,
one
yeah.
part of the world to the other. This is the stop off. This is the motel you stop off before you get
So
to the
yeah,
business
there you
meeting.
go. So is this where all sort of like the US cryptids sort of all meet there, and sort of
Yeah,
like all
yeah.
the European ones,
Why
all
else
the ones from around the world meet in different areas, and
you have
makes
aerial
sense.
phenomenon, so like they don't see all the flying cryptids. This is why the Thunderbird hasn't been seen there because you can't really track it.
There you go. There you go. Almost cracked it. But yeah, I don't think there's anything more that I can look at here because I don't have many more theories. Um, Erica, anything else you want to add to this at all? Or are you just sort of sat in bewilderment and found so much that you need to go and look at now after this?
Oh, I'll definitely be looking into this all night for sure. This was so cool. I appreciate the information on humanoids. Makes me feel a
There
lot
you go.
better. I'm gonna be honest. And yeah, I just think all the theories are, first of all, they're all very varied, which I thought was really interesting that they're kind of all over, which is cool. But yeah, it was just really interesting.
Oh, well, I think here is a great place to say that we are going to end this episode of our first episode of season 3. We hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been a fun one. Erica, thank you so much for coming on. You've been fantastic. Do you want to mention your show again for us?
Sure. Thank you again so much for having me. This has been so great. But we're Paranormal in Pennsylvania, and you can find us YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, pretty much wherever we are as well. We do share you guys quite a lot because we love what you do. Big, I love listening. It's nice. I was doing the dishes before, just had it on, just in the background. I was like, this is so cool. We don't have many ghost stories around where I am, so I mean, we've got a few haunted places, but me and Omer do want to check them out at some point and probably go and try
I think
something
you
a
do
bit
more
different.
traveling to actual locations, which we really need to get into doing.
Yeah, I think we do. I think
Oh
we do.
yeah, it's so fun. It really is. Because it's like, you're doing work, but you're not really doing work. You'd be there anyway. There's a lot of like hiking spots, which is really cool. And a lot of outdoor areas and stuff to do at the location. So it's been pretty
Oh, that
cool.
sounds so cool.
Ghosts and a
Well,
picnic.
there you go. There
Yeah.
you go. We should definitely go and do something like that. But yes, thank you very much for being on the show. Remember, you can as well find us in all the same places: Spotify, YouTube. I can't remember where we are anymore. We're everywhere. Make sure to follow us on Instagram as
Anywhere
well. We
you
do.
hear sounds, we will be there.
Yes, pretty
That
much.
sounds
We
about
are there. We are there. Extraterrestrial worlds from other sides, we're there. That's the sound that we make. Um,
All those weird
But yeah.
sounds they've been hearing in Skinwalker
It's
Ranch.
just us. It's just us. Just us. But yeah, we're going to roll those outro credits, but thank you so much for tuning in and see you on the next episode.
And that concludes another riveting episode of Caffeinated Conspiracies. Join us next week for more mind-bending mysteries, intriguing theories, and caffeinated conversation.
Thanks for tuning in, folks. We appreciate each and every one of our listeners. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on your favourite podcast platforms. Your support means the world to us.
Absolutely. And if you have any theories, suggestions, or just want to say hi to us, drop us a message on our social media. We absolutely love hearing from you and engaging with our amazing community.
Stay caffeinated, stay curious, and remember, the truth is out there. Until next time, this is Caffeinated Conspiracies, signing off.